shed more light about the latest developments in Gaza. We are joined over the phone by Ambassador Medhat Meleegy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Mr. Ambassador, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
President Sisi kicked off a state visit to Spain for talks over means to enhance bilateral ties in various domains. How do you see the timing of the President's visit to Spain?
Well, first of all, beside, of course, the economic aspect of the visit, which is a very important one, especially that Egypt have been working hard to pave the way to attract investment in various fields that we need for our development. But, of course, when it comes to the timing, as you just asked, I believe that, the timing can't be any better. It's a very important moment, and even it comes before the Arab mini summit that will be held in Saudi Arabia. And I believe that this visit is part of the Egyptian efforts, especially the President's efforts, to mobilize the world public opinion on what is happening in the Gaza Strip right now. Let's not forget, we have to mention that President Sisi has played a very important role in changing the views of a number of European Union countries during the past period. Ensure that he explained and to have shown that what happened in Gaza Strip was not the question of releasing the detainees or even the defense of the Israeli occupation state itself, but rather an attempt to liquidate the Palestinian cause, as we have seen, whether from the Israelis or from the initiative presented by Mr. Trump. And I think that the efforts of Egypt have helped very much to have this divergence that we see between the European views and the American view on the Palestinian cause. And
sorry for the interruption, but Mr. Ambassador, do you think there is a chance to form a European, Arab and Islamic front to deal with the President Donald Trump's ideas for the Gaza Strip?
Well, first of all, you have European countries that have already expressed their rejection to the idea of Mr. Trump. One can't help feel astonished a little bit from reaction of some traditionally and historically supporters of Israel, such as Germany and France, who have clearly stated that the idea of Mr. Trump is unrealistic and cannot be applied in real life. And but you also have to give the credit to countries like Spain. Spain was one of the European Union countries who have switched their position towards the Palestinian cause, and they recognize the Palestinian state along with, if you remember, Ireland and Norway. Both of them, the three of them actually, at the same time, they recognize the Palestinian state in a huge step coming from European countries. And if you remember, not far before, the Prime Minister, the Spanish Prime Minister, visited the Rafah crossing point and discussed, even with the Belgian Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time, the obstruction by the Israeli occupation army of the entry of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. And this was a very honorable position of Spain. And that's why I think this was the choice of President Sisi to strengthen the relations between our country, between Egypt and Spain, because of this recognition of the Arab right.
Do you think, I'm sorry for the interruption again, but do you think there is a chance for EU countries, Spain, Germany, England, France, of course, Italy, to take part in post-war era in the Gaza Strip and reconstruction plans prepared by Egypt?
Well, it's all part of a big formula that Egypt is crafting right now in order to see the post-war situation in Gaza. But let's not forget one very important thing that has been repeatedly said during the last 3 or 4 days by the Prime Minister, Mr. Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and other officials of the Israeli government, that they do not accept the Hamas or even the Palestinian Authority to be part of it. So maybe the solution can relay in having some European countries to be the buffer zone. However, I think that one thing that nobody is talking about, and I think it's the most important part that we have to ask Israel about it in a very clear manner. Where are exactly the borders of Israel? Because beyond this point is going to be the borders of the Palestinian territories. So Israel has to define its borders first in order for us to start working with the Palestinians about the truth, the real truth, and the real cessation of any act of violence, as Israel is calling it, or acts of terror, or whatever they want to call it. But first of all, you have to mention, where are your borders? Because beyond this point, you have the right to call it act of terrorism. But if you do not define your borders, then you are leaving the whole thing loose to play in your favor, as they did in the last 4 or 15 months, or genocide, actually, against the Palestinian people.
Indeed,
so
indeed, that's a very important issue. But if we move to another angle of the visit of President Sisi to Spain, the visit will witness the signing of an agreement to boost bilateral ties to the level of strategic partnership. To what extent will this level of strategic partnership serve the interests of the two states?
Well, actually, I believe that this is, the normal development of the relations that has been between Egypt and Spain. I mean, as we all know, the trade balance between the two countries is quite balanced, actually. I mean, it's not disproportionate like our trade balance with some other European countries. So we have a balanced trade, and tourism actually from Spain have exceeded the 300,000 tourists last year. We have a lot of joint naval maneuvers, and we have also a very close cooperation in the field of transport, trains, mechanization and modernization of level of crossing, wind farms on the Red Sea, and many other forms of cooperation in the field of clean and renewable energies. So it is not a surprise that President Sisi and the Prime Minister of Spain, they have agreed on lifting the relation to be a strategic partnership between the two countries. This comes at the end of a long way of cooperation between the two countries, and I believe, based on the data that we have, based on the projects, based on the ambitions of the two people, I think that having this strategic partnership fall into place exactly as it should.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador Medhat Al-Meleegy, thanks for being with us.